Okay, folks, in this video, I wanted to show you folks how using multiple selection tools in conjunction with each other, as well as the transform tool, using all of those tools together to help you folks create composition within your project or document. So let's start off with a blank document. I'm going to go up to File, New, and with the new document here, I'm going to choose a width of 10 inches, height of 15. By the way, this is the size of the movie poster project that you're going to do, 10 inches by 15 inches with a resolution of 72. That should be the size of your Photoshop file for your movie poster. I'm going to hit create, and there you go. Now, for this example or demonstration, I grabbed two pictures. The first picture I grabbed was, I believe it is this picture right here of the New York City or alleyway area. So let's go back to the Photoshop, and here it is. And I'm just going to drag it off of my desktop and drop it right here. Now you notice as it comes in, it has a transformation box around it. All I'm going to do is grab one of the sides or corners here and stretch it out so that it fits within my document. Now, of course, there are sides that are going to be cropped out. I just want to have the alleyway or street of the alley in the picture. I'm going to double click, left mouse, double click to accept. Now I want to drag in another picture. Let me zoom in. I'm going to hit Command plus to zoom in. Now the next picture I'm going to drag in is of the rock, and I'm going to let go. So as you can see here, let me grab the control handle of the transformation box and zoom it in. For those of you folks who have seen the movie, this is from the movie Rampage. Now obviously, I just want the rock in the picture and not the albino gorilla. Okay, so we got to cut the rock out. Let me double click to accept. Now, before we can edit this picture, and once again, this is something that's in the layer system, so you folks might not understand this yet, but once we do the layer video, you folks will understand what I'm talking about. But I'm going to come over to the layer for the rock, right click on it, and choose rasterize layer. This makes the layer editable. Right now, I can't make any edits to it until I do this action or command. So now it's an editable picture. I want to cut the rock out of the picture and delete the rest. To do that, I am going to choose which tool is most appropriate out of the selection tools to just get the rock out. Now, obviously, I can't use the marquee tools because I end up getting everything else besides the rock in there. I can't really choose the magic wand because the rock has multiple colors on him. So if I choose one, I end up getting extra stuff that I don't want. Okay, so the most appropriate tool, of course, would be the lasso tool. Now I could choose polygonal or magnet, but I want to do this freehand, so I'm going to use the regular lasso tool, and I'm going to zoom in. Okay, Command plus to zoom in, get it nice and big, and I'm going to start the lasso from down here and hold down the left mouse button and drag the mouse to draw my line here. Now I'm drawing out this line in a quick and dirty way, meaning a sloppy way. I want you folks to actually take your time when you're drawing your selection line, but for the sake of not turning this into a longer video than it needs to be, I'm doing what they call a quick and dirty, because it is sloppy, way of drawing my selection around the rock so that this doesn't turn into a 2-hour video. Okay? But as I said before, I would like you folks to take your time when you are drawing your selection lines. In other words, do as I say, not as I do. Okay? All right, almost there. All right, and remember, with the lasso tool, you have to come back to your starting point to close off the loop. And there we go. We now got the rock there. Let me just clean up a few items. So I left out a lot of his ear. I want to add to the selection, so I'm going to hold down plus and bring part of that ear in, as well as his neck or collar. Loop around to the beginning, close off the loop. And yeah, I guess for the most part, good enough. All right, let me zoom out. Command minus, Control minus for you guys on PC. Should be good enough. Now, remember, I just want the rock. So this is a situation where you folks will want to right click, select inverse, and we're going to do edit, clear to take out the background and just be left with the rock. Now I'm going to hit Command and D to deselect, or I could have just right click and deselect. Now you may think you are finished because you cut out the picture of the ape and the background, but there's still a little bit more of that picture left. You just don't see it because it's off screen. I'm going to click on the move tool. Now when you delete a selection, Photoshop will only delete what is visible here in your document area. If any of the picture is off to the side here and not visible, Photoshop will not touch that. So you have to manually delete that. Okay, I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to move the rock in this direction, and you're going to see that he still has some of his friend here. Now in this situation, I could use the lasso tool, but I'm sure you folks probably realize that the rectangular marquee tool is perfect for this particular situation. We got a perfect rectangle here. So what we're going to do is draw a marquee, left mouse click and drag to select everything. Remember, this is on a layer, so it's not going to affect the background, which is on a different layer. And as I said before, I will teach you folks the layer system after. Okay, so now that we have everything from the rock picture here in a selection box, come up to edit, clear, and that takes care of that. So right click to deselect, or Command or Control D. I'm going to select my move tool, we still have the other side to worry about. So let's move rock this way. And this is a smaller sliver of the background. So select your marquee select tool, and we're going to select that. And I'm going to hit edit and clear. Now this is a little late in the video, but of course you folks probably have noticed that the rock isn't in the Photoshop class files. Sorry, I just realized that now. Some of you folks might be watching along and was interested in doing this exercise with me and realized, hey, where did he get those pictures from? I just pulled those pictures from Google. Okay, so sorry about that for those of you folks wanting to do this along with me, but yeah. Anyways, we're almost done with this. So we got the rock isolated out from his picture. Now you notice the lighting doesn't exactly match too much. We could try to bring the rock's lighting into, I guess, how do I say, uh, match it up a little bit better or as close as possible to the background lighting. We could try to image adjustments, um, maybe hue and saturation, if you folks remember this from my previous videos. And I'll explain the hue saturation options later. Turn down the saturation to give him more of a desaturated look. Maybe bump up the lighting or so. Maybe change the hue a little bit. Well, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but there you go. So that's using multiple. I've already used the marquee tool, the lasso tool. Now let's transform him. So remember to transform, either edit, free transform, or shortcut keys is Command T, Control T on your keyboards. And I'm going to rotate him so that it's a little bit more level instead of leaning over like this. And perhaps zoom them up a little bit, or scale them up, I'm sorry. Okay. But as you notice, I'm going to hit Command minus, Control minus on a PC to zoom out. He's a little bit blurry compared to the background. We can fix that later. I'll show you folks how with some other options. But remember, as you make or increase the scale, sometimes pictures become a little bit blurry. So maybe we'll leave him roughly about that size. Hit enter to accept. And so what I've just shown you folks is how to use multiple selection tools, the transform tool to take two pictures and put them together. If I wanted to, I could also go even one step further, use the magic wand tool, change the color. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me deselect. I have to make sure the city is selected in the layer box because the stop sign here is on the city layer. And if I wanted to change the color of the stop sign, hold down Shift and let me zoom in there to get a better selection. Space bar and drag. Okay, hold on Shift, click, Shift click, and Shift click. So say if I wanted to change out the red, could always come to image adjustments, hue and saturation, change the color of the red, saturation, and the brightness. You notice that I didn't get all of the red here. Okay. I would hit cancel, zoom in even more with a command plus, control plus if I was on a PC. Hold down the shift key while I have my magic lasso tool activated. Or if I wanted to, I could even switch to my lasso tool. Even though I used the magic wand to select the red here, if I want to do a fine selection or more fine-tuned selection, I could switch tools at any time. I still have my selection, my original selection going, and use the other tools to fine-tune the selection. So I'm going to hold down plus, and I'm going to draw in the areas that I didn't get with the magic wand. I believe, see now these are straight lines. So instead of using my freehand lasso, I'm going to switch to the polygonal lasso. Hold down shift, and if you remember with the polygonal, all you do is click once. You have your line here. You click again, and this whole time I'm holding down the shift key, right, to add. So I'm going to click again, click once more, click once more, and then close off the loop, click once more. So now I got in that section on the inside. Now if I do image adjustments, hue, saturation, and I could change the hue. Now we got all of the, or most of the red at least. Saturation up, lightness up or down, however you wish to do so. And you can change the colors to whatever you want, because the only part of this picture that is being affected is whatever is in the selection. Now, of course, if I hit cancel, I could always make sure one of my selection tools is selected. Select the inverse. So right click, select inverse. Now, whatever is on the outside of the selection is going to be affected. So if I did this again, image, adjustments, hue, saturation, and I played with the hue, you notice the hue of everything besides the stop sign changes. Okay. So as you can see, your selection tools are very important in Photoshop, and they can be used in conjunction with each other and to help supplement each other when making a selection. Just for the stop sign alone, I use the magic wand tool to get most of the stop sign. Then I use the lasso tool to get those little itty bitty parts that were not originally selected with the magic tool or magic wand tool. I've also shown you folks how to incorporate the transform tool. Now if we wanted to use the transform tool on a stop sign, let me zoom in, edit, let me hit Command T. Oh, it looks like I cannot transform it. Oh, I can't transform it because, yeah, I haven't shown you this. Let me right click, rasterize layer. Now, Command T, free transform. But because I have the inverse selected, it's going to transform the city, not the stop sign. So let me hit escape. select inverse again. Okay, now that that's selected, Command T, there you go. And of course, you can transform the stop sign, maybe even put it in a rock's hand or behind him. Okay, so multiple different things you folks can do. All right, so that's it for this video. I just wanted, the whole purpose of this video is just to show you folks how to use multiple selection tools together along with the transform tool. Okay.